Good morning, brothers, sisters, sheep, heathens, goats, ground fish, and gold hogs. Um, Christianity is lost. The, the road is wide, many are on it. Christianity is not following Christ, they're following the Antichrist. It's a fact you're going to have to accept. And, brother Eddie, this is one of the last two steps. And a couple I tagged. JT follows JC. It's supposed to be Jesus Christ. I ain't dogging on you. I ain't dogging on you. We got to have thick skin. We got to be able to take correction. We all to be able to listen. If we all claim the Most High, why is there a division in the Most High's house? You know, you can't divide a house. That's why it's fallen. That's why Christianity ain't what it needs to be. You know, if we're going to claim Jesus Christ, why are you going to run off and follow somebody else and thinking they're the way? I'm not dogging on you. I'm not attacking nobody. I just want people to think. Now, we have the technology to do studies. We have Jesus' spoken word. We have the Bible. And we're supposed to study to find out, to show ourselves approved, right? That's what Paul tells you. Study to show thyself approved. How much have you studied? Do you know about Paul? Yeah, he didn't know Jesus. He didn't know Jesus. Really? Okay. We're going to look at all this. We're going to look at all this. Didn't know Jesus before his crucifixion. Didn't know Jesus. Saw the resurrected Jesus. You know, never knew him. Never knew Jesus. But how is that possible? Have you ever studied to show thyself approved? Let's go see. Because, hey, 48-year Pauline Baptist telling you Paul's false. Okay, first of all, mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Witness number 1, Paul, false apostle. Witness number 2, never knew Jesus. He never taught Jesus. Witness number 3, Paul's mockery of Jesus. Witness number 4, Paul contradicted Jesus. Witness number 5, the false apostle. Witness number 6, the false apostle. That's not 7 because that's one of the witnesses earlier. Witness number 7, charlatan. Witness number 8, pagan influences, Paul. Witness number 9 and 10, he's got a guest. So 10 witnesses. 10 witnesses that claim the life of Jesus Christ as who they follow. So 10 witnesses out of the mouth of 2 or more. 10 is 2. Now 10 witnesses, probably 11 or 12 because there's guests on some of them. So 10 to 12 people can sit down and confess Paul is a. How come there's a big divide in the house of God between who to follow, Jesus Christ or Apostle Paul? The titles themselves should be enough to convince you. Because if there's Jesus Christ standing there, and Apostle Paul standing there come judgment day, who are you going to run to? Are you going to or Apostle Paul? Who is the choice? Who is the one that's in your heart leading you to the light? Is it the true light, the true bright morning star, the true Lucifer in Genesis, Revelation 22:16, John 1, the light of the world? Or is it the false light, the fallen Lucifer, Paul, from Acts 9, then here, there in Acts 15, then on to Acts 29, 8. Who are you going to run to come White Throne Judgement? We're going to stand before God. But who are you going to profess come White Throne Judgement? Apostle Paul or Jesus Christ? All right. If you're going to profess Jesus Christ at White Throne Judgement, how come you don't profess Jesus Christ here on earth in this life? Professing and following. Professing, how am I going to say this? You profess Jesus Christ here in this earth, but yet you follow Paul. Or if you profess Jesus Christ in this earth, if you're going to profess Jesus Christ in the next realm, how can you not confess him? You can't confess him by name and expect that to be it. Let's go look. Let's go look at some history about Paul. Paul never knew Jesus, huh? Well, if you study to show thyself approved, dadgummit. Paul, I'm going to hit back. We're going, y'all, yeah, hey, y'all, I know y'all don't like to sit here through this because it's not planned. It's not perfect. It's not for show. This is for educational purposes. All right. Paul's dad was a Pharisee. This is just simple questions. Was Paul's dad when Jesus was 12 years old? Yes. So Paul's daddy was a Pharisee. And what was Jesus doing at 12 years old? Astonishing the Pharisees. And Paul's dad was a Pharisee. Yes. The Bible explicitly states Paul's father was a Pharisee. What year was Jesus born? Most scholars agree Jesus was born between 6 and 4 BCE. All right. 5 BC. So Paul grew up 1 year younger than Jesus Christ. Paul's daddy was a Pharisee, Gamaliel. It's a simple process, brothers and sisters. Highly probable, though not explicitly stated, that the famous Pharisee Rabbi Gamaliel was among the temple teachers, astonished by the 12-year-old Jesus, given his prominence as a Jewish leader and teacher of the law, while the Bible, Luke 22:46-47 says, amazed. Gamaliel was the leading authority, and it would be unlikely he wasn't present at such a significant gathering in the temple during Passover. Paul says in Acts 22:3, he was brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers. So, Paul was born in 5. Jesus was born in 6 to 4. So, they're roughly the same age. Paul's father was a Pharisee. Paul's father was present while Jesus was blowing his mind. Gamaliel was present, his mind blown by what? A 12-year-old Jesus. Paul brags about being brought up at the feet of Gamaliel. Now, let's take what we have just learned. Wait a minute. Is incorrect. Having a godly jealousy for spiritual purity and faithfulness to the Church of Christ. He had to be right. Now, again, we're going to take what we've just learned. Jesus was born. A year later, Paul was born. Jesus grows up 12 years old. When start Gamaliel? Paul saw her being studying under Gamaliel, AD 15 to 20. That would be a little odd because, well, no, 5 would be 20. It'd be 25. Now, I'd only put Paul. It's close. I say Paul as a young child. Now, because it says Paul was learning as a young child. This is teenage years. This is 20 years old. No. So if Paul was studying as a young child, where is it? Devout Pharisee, Gamaliel, as a boy. Now, just imagine if your daddy comes home about this little 12-year-old boy, that just blew the socks off the greatest and most bestest Gamaliel. Paul's daddy comes home and starts talking about, boy, this little kid, he blew our mind. And there is little old Paul hearing his daddy brag about this little old 12-year-old boy. Then Paul starts hearing Gamaliel brag about this little 12-year-old boy. So, Andy. So to getting, is anything starting to click? Paul, wait. Yes, Paul, then called Saul, a devout Pharisee, when Jesus was teaching and persecuting the followers of Jesus. So Paul was a Pharisee while Jesus was alive and walking. No, how couldn't he? How couldn't he? Paul was a devout Pharisee, educated in Jerusalem. He was a Pharisee in Jerusalem when Jesus was teaching. So how could he not during his earthly ministry? Because Gamaliel and his daddy had their mind blown. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That part we've studied. Paul knew Jesus as a child. Paul's daddy was astonished and bragging about this child. Gamaliel, the greatest, bestest of Pharisees there ever was bragging and astonished by this 12-year-old child who was the zealous little devil that wanted to kill Jesus since birth. Well, now let's go look at some scripture. Let's go look at some scripture. Now here Jesus tells his disciples what's going to happen between saying this to the time he returns, until Jesus returns. So everything Jesus is saying in Matthew 24 is from the time it left his mouth until he returned in the clouds of glory. Now, what did he say in Matthew 24:26? Behold, if they shall say unto you, he is in the desert, believe it not. And there's one more, he says it. Where was it? Or it might be back up top. He says it twice. Now, if whoever says they saw me in the desert, they are liars. We can agree that's what Jesus said. Yes. Yes. You see my question. Was Paul in the desert when he claims he saw Jesus? Yes. Yes. How come that don't pertain to Paul? Yeah. And see, exactly. Now, and thank you. Watch this, folks. Watch this. Wait. This is in John 5:43. Let me see, it might be, my freaking stream might be ended. I don't know. Let's see what this is. Nothing on. Yeah. Let me see. John 5:43. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will. Wait. Saul changed his own name to Paul. I see. It changed it. Why the name changed? Why the name changed? So he went from calling himself Paul to calling himself, you know what I mean. Paul, didn't have his name changed. There you go. There you go, brothers and sisters. There you go. Thank you, Andy. There you go. Because I would have hit on this later, but that's all we need right there. Paul didn't have his name changed by God. Rather, he used his Hebrew name. Paul came in his own name. God didn't change it. Paul changed his own name. Paul came in his own name. What are you doing over there? Stop. Sound like you're sawing something in two. Okay. Paul was in the desert. Now, if Paul was in the desert, and we can agree, Jesus said this, from the time Jesus said this right here, from the time he returned in the clouds of glory, if anybody says they saw him in the desert, they're liars. Because Paul was in the desert, brothers and sisters. I mean, this is pretty much over with. This stream is over with. It's pretty much done. Yeah, his name was Saul when he was born. Now, if we're going to claim Jesus Christ, shouldn't we listen to Jesus Christ? No, we ain't done. Paul says, follow my example. Follow my example. Follow me. Be like me. Hmm. John, probably 13. Okay, so John 13. I don't know, 15. What? Verse 15, 13, 15. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Not just washing the feet, humbling yourself and serving. Not being a teacher. Not being a teacher. Paul says he is your teacher. Not being a father. Paul says he has become their spiritual father. Not call yourself rabbi. Paul was making himself a rabbi. Matthew 23. Matthew 23 and 22. Well, he said, obey the Pharisees. Well, once you study the words of Jesus before you start trying to correct somebody, because you're stuck on the words of Paul. But, okay. Paul identified himself as a rabbi. All right. Well, let's go to his background. Yeah, you're going to do everything you can to defend Paul. Yes, Paul called himself a spiritual father to believers and called no man father. Paul was a master builder. He was a master. Really, people, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Paul done everything Jesus said not to do. He did everything Jesus warned about. With considering the few, no, White Throne Judgement is coming. You know we're in Satan's short season. Yet you're not following JC. Following ACPS. Antichrist, Apostle, Saul, I don't know, Paul. You're not following Jesus Christ. And I'm not attacking you, brothers, sisters. I'm not. I'm hoping your skin's thick enough to accept correction from the spoken word of Jesus. If you cannot accept that correction from Jesus Christ, White Throne Judgement is going to be a nightmare. You want to take your last two steps? You need to drop your love of this world, your love for Paul, and pick up the words of Jesus Christ. Until you come to the realization Jesus Christ is the only way, not a way, the way. You're going to be lost. I'm praying you drop your pride and your egos. I'm not attacking you, but your pride and your egos is what's blocking the truth from entering your heart. The ease Paul lets you run through this world and do as thou wants. Where have we heard that before? Praying, brothers and sisters. I'm praying. God bless. God bless. God bless.